Coming up on Business Incorporated. Moody's rates Ghana economy with B3 negative outlook. And Zimbabwe maintains 7.4% growth forecast on improved farm output. And South Sudan plans to dispose of 60,000 expired COVID-19 vaccines. Hello, welcome to the program. I'm Ladi Williams. Begin today's show with the market numbers. Here on the African continent, sentiment were mostly positive. Only the GSE in South Africa declined 0.73%. On the flip side, Nigeria's main index rose 0.29%, while the EGX30 in Egypt surged 1.16%. Kenya ended Monday's session negative. And investor sentiments in the Gulf region were mixed that intraday. In the UAE, the Abu Dhabi index jumped almost 1%, while Dubai's index lost 0.32%. Elsewhere in the region, Saudi Arabia's index rose 0.11%, while the Qatari index was marginally lower by 0.06%. And European stocks slid territory today, with global markets all showing lackluster sentiment. Astos joins us now from Frankfurt Exchange to tell us more about this. Hello, Astos. Great to have you. European stock markets opened largely flat this morning. What is holding investors back?
Well, thanks a lot for having me. Good afternoon. It seems to be a case of investors booking their profits. We know that the markets across Europe have been toying around that area, that the record highs of late, and over the past few months now, they've been every now and then they've been clocking new highs. So today, perhaps they are booking the profits, the investors, and there is also a concern around rising COVID cases in big markets like India and Brazil. So that is definitely a cause of concern, because there are worries that this means that the kind of growth that investors were anticipating may not be realized this year, and this could be a big setback to a rebound that everybody was hoping for. So that is a major reason. Then another reason is, of course, tobacco companies haven't been doing well today, and that's after a Wall Street Journal report that the Biden administration was actually looking or planning to tell cigarette companies to lower the nicotine levels in cigarettes, all kinds of cigarettes, and to levels that they are no longer addictive.
Anyway, the International Energy Agency has warned of a major surge in CO2 emissions from energy this year as the global economy recovers from the pandemic-induced recession. What more can you tell us about this?
Well, yes, it's quite a disappointing report because the IEA says that this year the carbon emissions are going to rise 5%, and it's going to be the biggest annual increase since 2010. It is disappointing but not surprising. Disappointing because last year we did see emissions go down 6% because of the lockdowns, and we would have ideally liked that to be a permanent fixture, a permanent drop, but as it turned out, and as the expectation from IEA is there, that it was rather a temporary blip. So that's disappointing, but surprising, it's not at all surprising, because why did the emissions go down in the first place? Because there was lesser demand for power, electricity, with factories being shut, with offices being shut, with factories like cement and steel factories being shut. So they actually have a lot of demand for coal. But with recovery taking place, with Asia driving the recovery, there is more demand for coal, because now power plants need to run to produce power, and also these plants need coal. The steel and cement plants need coal to power up. So it's not exactly surprising. But then there is also a positive side to the story, that renewables are doing quite good, and they are expected to carry on their impressive run. This year, renewables could contribute to producing 30% of the global electricity, and that's a definite positive.
Do you think firms are doing enough to ensure recovery doesn't come at a cost to the environment?
Well, honestly speaking, they do not have much of a choice. So they have to play along even if their heart does not allow, because now we are seeing more and more governments and heavy polluters like China, US, they are actually committing to zero net emission targets, and they plan to achieve that within the next 2 to 3 decades. So clearly, companies don't have a choice. If I could tell you about the European Union, here there are already strict carbon dioxide restriction rules for the auto industry. There are also subsidies encouraging greener investments and greener to consumers to buy greener products, and all this is already having an impact. And if you look at the auto industry, they are actually doubling down on electric vehicles. We've seen electric vehicles perform really well last year, despite the entire industry not doing well here in Europe. Electric vehicles were definitely a bright spot, and the companies are ready to spend billions of dollars, and they are doing this, and they're selling more and more electric vehicles, despite the fact that they're not making money on them at this point of time, but actually breaching that CO2 limits that they have would actually cost them more than taking a hit on selling unprofitable electric vehicles at this point in time.
All right, Ashutosh, thanks for the update. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
And in the UK, shares in UK-listed tobacco giants are sliding this morning. Let's talk to Juliana now for updates from London. Great to have you, Juliana. FTSE 100 was in red earlier. How's the market looking this intraday, and what's driving sentiment?
Good afternoon, Laddie. Still in the red, unfortunately. There appears to be various issues that are weighing down the markets. First of all, you spoke about British American tobacco. That takes its cue from Wall Street overnight after the Biden administration said they are going, they're attempting to lower the level of nicotine. So that sent tobacco companies in on the New York Stock Exchange falling, and that's drifted over into the FTSE All-Share. Also as well, I've got to tell you that European Super League, which the British press, by the way, can't get enough of, is also weighing on sentiment. BT Group, their shares are much lower. That's because BT Sports, they do show a pretty big chunk of Premier League football matches. And of course, this has got fans, players, and even the politicians all rallied up. So that's causing lots of issues. And as well, the pound hit 1.40 against the dollar. And of course, when the pound is up, the FTSE's down. So the all-share is down 0.84%. The FTSE 100 is down 0.97%, and the FTSE 250 is down by 0.5%. In the currencies market, the British pound down against the US dollar by 0.09%, down against the euro by 0.22%, and up against the Japanese yen by 0.13%.
All right, and Britain's competition regulators worried about this £6.8 billion takeover of Asda by billionaire Issa Brothers and private equity group TDR Capital. What's the worry here?
Yeah, this is, it's been a controversial couple of months for the Issa brothers, who are trying to bring back the ownership of Asda from America into the UK. It's ruffled lots of feathers over the past couple of months. The Competition and Market Authority, the regulator here in the UK, have been involved, and the issue that they have at the moment is about fuel prices, which is always a big topic of discussion here in the UK. The Issa brothers own the EG Petrol Group. They have over 300 petrol stations here in the UK. Asda also own over 300 petrol stations in the UK. So, of course, once they've got Asda in their hands, that's a massive group of petrol forecourts. A lot of concerns being raised about this, whether or not it's going to, etch out the competition and push up prices. So, as it stands at the moment, this £6.8 billion takeover is effectively on hold. I believe the Issa brothers and TDR Capital, they've got 5 days to try and convince the regulators that indeed, this wouldn't scrap out the competition. And I believe they've responded to the accusation, saying they are going to put forward a strong case.
Let's see how it ends up. But Primark is in the news today with record sales as shops reopen. I guess it's time to spend all that saved cash.
Absolutely, I wish I could. I don't have the time to queue up in Primark. Their queues are very long. If they're not outside, then it's queues to pay at the cash register. But yes, Associated British Foods, which is the parent owner of Primark, they've given their half-year trade report today. Mixed bag. Their shares were down 3% as soon as they released these results, showing that their profits have plunged 50% in those 6 months. Revenue has also dived 17%. But alas, the golden egg in their basket, Primark, has performed well. They've only been open a week, but they said that since the restrictions were lifted in England and their stores have opened, sales are at a record high, and that's down to the number of clothes that have been in people's baskets, which is good news for them. There have been lots of questions and conversations about the sustainability of Primark. It is cheap. Well, it used to be much cheaper, but it is still relatively cheap. And fast fashion now just doesn't go forward with sustainability. If you can buy an item and only wear it once or twice, is that sustainable for the environment? But it is still performing pretty well, so much so that Associated British Foods have confirmed that they will be returning the £121 million worth of COVID-19 relief to the government. Much of that was down to business rates relief and down to the fact that they furloughed much of their staff. And they also said they are going to be giving shareholders their interim dividend payment.
Okay. All right, Julia, thanks for the update. Always great to talk to you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
And shares in Asia Pacific were mixed today as China kept its benchmark lending rate unchanged, and stocks in Japan led losses among the region's major markets, with the Nikkei 225 falling 1.97% to close at 29,100 points, while the Topix index shed 1.55% to end its trading day at 1,926 points. Mainland Chinese stocks also closed lower. The Shanghai Composite shed 0.13% to 3,472 points, while the Shenzhen component declined 0.11% to 14,101 points. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index was hovering around the flat line of its final hour of trading. S&P ASX 200 in Australia closed 0.68% lower at 3,220 points, while South Korea's Kospi ended the trading day 0.68% higher at 3,220 points. MSCI's Broadest Index of Asia Pacific shares outside Japan rose 0.23%. And U.S. stock futures were muted in early morning trade today as investors prepared for the next batch of corporate earnings. Dow futures fell 0.43%, S&P 500 futures and NASDAQ 100 futures traded in negative territory. The major averages fell on Monday, dragged down by overall weakness in the technology sector. Dow Jones Industrial Average lost more than 120 points, dragged down by a more than 1.5% drop in Intel stock. The S&P 500 dropped more than 0.5%, and the NASDAQ Composite was the relative underperformer, dipping nearly 1% as Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft all closed lower. And oil prices rose in early trade today as a weaker U.S. dollar supported commodities and on expectations that crude inventories fell in the United States, though rising coronavirus cases in Asia capped the gains. Brent crude futures for June delivery rose by 0.8% to $67.59 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures for May delivery, which expired today, was up 0.8% to $63.91 a barrel. The more active June contract was at $63.93, also up about 0.8%. Also supporting prices, U.S. crude and distillate stockpiles were expected to have dropped last week, while gasoline inventories likely rose. And commodities market update is next. When we return from this break, do stay with us. Welcome back. The commodity in focus today is avocado. Over the years, avocado fruit, commonly known as green gold, has become an incredibly popular food among health-conscious individuals. The fruit is prized for its high nutrient value and is added to various dishes due to its good flavor and rich texture. It is the main ingredient in the popular sauce guacamole. Joining me now to talk more about this is Maiwa Ige, a research analyst at financial derivatives company. Thank you for joining us, Maiwa.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so avocado has become, very popular among health-conscious individuals. What are the benefits of the fruit? And apart from it being consumed orally, what else is the avocado used for?
So the avocado fruit is very unique, and like you said, it's highly nutritious. It contains about 20 different vitamins and minerals. So some of the health benefits of the fruit include, one, it's very high in fat, and then it's not the bad kind of fat, it's the monounsaturated fat, which helps to lower bad cholesterol when consumed in moderate quantities. Two, it's very rich in fiber, which helps with weight loss and general health of the metabolism. And then three, it contains potassium, which helps protect the heart and also helps lower blood pressure. And four, it actually contains antioxidants that help protect the eyes. And lastly, it helps to reduce symptoms of osteoarthritis. On its uses, apart from being consumed orally, it actually has industrial uses. It's used a lot in the cosmetics industry in producing facial lotion, soaps. It has the avocado pulp, and then it has fluid extract, and the leaves, fluid extract from the leaves is widely used. They're widely used in the pharmaceutical industry, and also the avocado oil is used in the food and beverage industry.
All right. Over the years, avocado has become a target for theft in South Africa due to its high value in international markets. And South Africa's avocado industry, which is estimated about $87 million, has recorded annual losses amounting to about $1.6 million. Nigeria, on the other hand, is still producing far below a growing global avocado demand. What can African nations, including South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria, do to improve yields per hectare to globally competitive levels?
So the price of avocado in recent years has actually increased by about 129%, and this is largely due to strong demand driven by health reasons, like we just talked about. And then African countries like South Africa and Kenya have actually tapped into the increase in avocado prices in the global markets. In the last 4 decades, South Africa has increased its production by over 10,000%. In the last 12 months, Kenya has increased its production by 22%. And well, despite this, should we say that there's always room for improvement, saying that the price of avocado will not decline anytime soon. So governments of these countries can actually take steps such as, one, provide capital for small-scale farmers, to provide technology and institutional support for their farmers, especially when you look at the case of theft in South Africa. And lastly, by improving the infrastructure, especially the roads. But I think that more of the focus should be on Nigeria, because our performance in avocado production is very poor. We need to increase our production because we actually have the potential to generate about 12 billion naira from avocado production and export. So in addition to adopting the measures I just outlined for the other countries, our government can actually also add subsidizing the price of avocado seedlings for our local farmers, as this will go a long way in increasing our avocado production in the country.
Yeah, seems Nigeria seems to always have potential in every... Well, the demand for fruits typically increase during Ramadan season. Price of oranges, apples have increased about 100% and 10%, and fruits have also become scarce this period. However, within the same period, the price of avocado has dropped by about 25%. What's the reason for this decline?
So generally, the demand for oranges and apples has always been higher than the demand for avocado, and this is because a lot of people do not know the health benefits of avocado, and also I believe it's an acquired taste. Not everybody likes the taste of it, so the demand hasn't been high over the years. And looking at this period in particular, there's been an increase in the supply of avocado, and so this, coupled with the average demand of the fruit, has led to the current decline in prices that we currently see.
All right, Maiwa, I like my avocado juice. I don't know about you, but thank you so much for the update, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Now, credit rating firm Moody's has placed the Ghana's economy on B3 with a negative outlook, saying the country has high exposure to external financing. According to Moody's, Ghana will find it more expensive to borrow funds to run its economy due to a decline in its revenues and an increase in the interest rates it pays on debts. Moody's says the challenge now for Ghana is to implement an austere budget by limiting spending or finding cheaper loans to finance the deficit left by its dip in earnings. The ratings agency explains that the outlook could turn stable if the government limits the potential increase in its funding needs or confidently show it will be able to get sufficient funding at moderate costs when needed. And Zimbabwe's treasury is sticking to its growth estimate of 7.4%, even after the nation's president said this projection would have to be revised. According to the finance minister, the forecast is achievable if the country had good rains that will boost farm output to the highest in 4 years. The International Monetary Fund expects the economy to grow 3.1% this year after contracting for the past 2 years. President Emmerson Mnangagwa said the treasury would have to revise its projection because of expectations that new waves of coronavirus infections will curtail economic output. The Southern African nation has annual inflation of 241%, the foreign currency shortages, and the disposable income of most workers who earn in local currency has shrunk. And South Sudan's Ministry of Health says it plans to dispose 60,000 expired doses of COVID-19 vaccines donated by the African Union in partnership with the mobile operator MTN. Consignment of 60,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccine arrived last week. The COVID-19 incident manager in South Sudan, Dr. Richard Laku, says the Drug and Food Control Authority already laid the policy, which the ministry has to abide with. And now the engagement with the African Union and other people is to see how they deal with this. Last month, South Sudan received the first batch of 132,000 doses of AstraZeneca COVID vaccines provided by the COVAX facility, which are expected to expire in July this year. That's it on Business Incorporated. Thank you for watching. I'm Ladi Williams. Bye for now.